Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a fence with some climbing roses. I'm going to try to keep it beginner friendly, and I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat for our live show tonight, so if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those, and I will try to answer them. Let's get started. All right, so I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas today. This is a Fredrix Belgian linen canvas board in that size, and I have given it a coat of gray using Ultramarine Blue and burnt umber and a little bit of unbleached titanium, and I actually just put the paint straight onto the canvas and smushed it around with my brush and didn't really mix it too much. You can see it's kind of blendy and all that. You can spray it once with your water, but that's what I did here. Probably equal parts of all three colors to get this look. But really, it doesn't really matter what color you start with. We're just going to be painting over the top of this, but I wanted a little bit of a gray underneath. Let me go over our brushes really quick. I've got a number 12 bright, which I already used for the background, so I'm not sure if we're going to actually use that again. A number 6 bright, a number 2 flat, a number 2 round. And these are the 6100 series in the Princeton brushes. And then these are Princeton VelvetTouch, 3/8 inch angle, 1/4 inch angle, and number 1 round. And then I have a white watercolor pencil that we're going to be marking our fence with, and you'll want a ruler, T-square, some sort, to help you get your straight lines. And let's go over our colors really quick. I've got unbleached, excuse me, choking. Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Red Light, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Yellow Oxide, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, Unbleached Titanium, and Titanium White. And if you don't have these exact colors, just use what you've got. I'm using heavy body acrylics with golden. This is a Fredrix color, the Unbleached Titanium, but the rest of them are golden acrylics, heavy body. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is kind of mark out your fence line. We could do you're going to want to put your gray down first because you're going to want some color under there, and then I'm going to mark out my fence. Okay.
I thought you said you were ready.
I'm sorry. I did something there when I was introducing the colors. Swallowed wrong. I'm fighting a cough. Okay. So what I did is I just marked 11 lines onto my board. So I just marked it every inch line across like this. And then I found the center mark here, kind of the center of my canvas, and did a line kind of just above that all the way across, and just make sure it's kind of level. So I'm going to go all the way across. And if you wet down your watercolor pencil, it'll actually mark a little bit darker for you. Whoop.
Pro tip.
You could use chalk too, or any kind of mark like that. And then I'm going to use the number 6 width of the number 6 brush, which is about, I think, about a 1/2 inch or so, maybe 3/8 inch. Let me look. Yeah, it's probably closer to a 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to mark those 2 lines there so I kind of know where to put my cross slats. And then I'm going to go down to the very bottom of the canvas and come up just a little bit from the bottom and do the same thing. Get a little bit of water on my pencil and go right across and try to stay on the line there. And then come up a little bit and try to get it about the same width as that. You can measure it if you want to. I'm not worried about it. When we do our brush, it'll do it for us. So I'm just kind of marking where I sort of want it to go. Our brush will get those margins. And in fact, you could go just a little bit more narrow than your brush, just so that you know kind of where to put your stripe. All right. And then I came up, let's see. About a little over 1.5 inches from the top of this line, and just kind of marked up here and here, and I just kind of marked straight across so that I knew sort of where both of these are going to start, here and here. And then I came up just a little bit up from the bottom of this and just did a curved line. This is going to be the top of our fence. It's curved like that. All right, and then all of our slats are going to go along the middle of these lines that we marked, and mine aren't very dark, but you can kind of see those. I'm making them a little bit darker so you can see. So we're going to go right down the middle of these marks later. Oh, I lost my spot here. That wasn't right. Right here. There. And what we'll do is we'll just put our brush, or we'll put our brush right on the middle of that mark there and just go straight down. And we're going to use this curved line as the starting point. So we'll kind of line up our brush on that curved line and then use the ruler to keep our line straight. So when we get to doing that. But first we're going to put in some grasses and things going on behind our fence. So I'm not going to put all of my lines in here because I don't want to have to draw back in my lines. Okay.
So somebody had a question that what, or should they consider if they're putting this in a frame?
Okay.
So I said in the chat to leave about a finger's width of a margin around the edges.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna, yes, yeah. It usually, the frame will come up about a quarter an inch. So you may want to, just make sure that this bottom that's about a half an inch. So you're just going to know it's going to come up to right about there. It's going to just barely be right on that line. So usually the edges get cut off about a quarter inch. So yeah, you can make that bottom line a little bit bigger if you want. I think I am going to use this larger brush here.
Do it.
And I'm going to grab some brown. You sound so excited about this, honey.
I'm gonna
grab a little bit of blue and a little bit of green. Go ahead.
I'm gonna turn
Mostly
off
brown.
your mic for a moment.
Okay.
And try to reset it here. So
Okay, what's it doing?
I just got a little bit of static. So
Okay.
hold on. That's better.
Better? Okay.
Yep.
Good. I noticed the other day when we were playing back a recording, it was real staticky too. But I think that was my computer that doing it. Okay, so I'm just kind of going on either side, and you could do this, probably be smarter to do this before you put in your line, but I like to live dangerously, so we're just gonna kind of go over the top of our line. That's fine. I've just got this darker color because I noticed that the foreground is really dark under here where our bushes are planted, and you're really not seeing a whole lot through the slats, but I do want a little bit of this kind of darker brown in here, and then I'm just going to kind of fade it out up here because most of this up here is all going to be greenery, but it does come up a little ways. Okay, so all I did is kind of start down here with the full color, and then I didn't add any more color. I didn't want to add, you don't want to add water at this point. I think that sometimes people will add water thinking that will thin out their paint. But when you add water to this, I'll show you what happens if you would add water to this. It's going to wipe off what you've already done. So you don't want to introduce water to your paint. You can introduce it here before you go onto the canvas, but when you've got paint that's kind of a thicker consistency, all you're doing is diluting that paint when you add the water to it, and it's just going to kind of peel right off your canvas, especially if the paint's not dry yet. So just keep that in mind. You can go dark. You can go with thicker paint over watered, watery paint, but you can't really go with watery paint. You're going to want to let it dry completely, and then you can always go back in and add water to it at that point. I don't know if that made sense at all.
I wasn't paying attention, but I'm sure it was brilliant. I give it 2 thumbs up.
Well, I was okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. I was just going to say that before you said, I don't know if that makes sense, but it sounded very convincing in the background.
Well, I was just thinking it here at this point that I've seen people do that, where you kind of get to the end here and it's not covering completely and you think you need to add water to it, but really you could just pick up some more paint if you wanted to continue with your thing there. And I added a little glazing liquid, which you can always add into your paint too. So, and it'll give you a little bit more drying time. Okay, so I'm going to create kind of a dark green here. I'm going to use the Ultramarine Blue and Phthalo green. The rose's leaves have this really pretty kind of almost tealish blue tone, so I'm going to add a little bit of blue. And I could have used Phthalo blue, but Phthalo blue is already so teal. I didn't want it to be like really in your face teal, so the Ultramarine Blue has got enough red in it that it kind of neutralizes that green and makes it a really pretty color. It's not overwhelmingly teal. And then I'm going to use brown, Ultramarine Blue, or burnt umber, to create that really dark brown, really dark green. Okay. And this is almost dry. I'm not really worried about it lifting because we're going to cover most of this. So I'm just going to go right up at the bottom here and just add a few little kind of stems. And most of this is not really going to be covered, it's showing. So don't waste a lot of time on this part. Just kind of dab it on there. Most of this is going to be covered up. And if you got a spot that's like bugging you, just put a flower over the top of it. So that's my, advice.
That's my motto in life.
Don't exactly. Got something bugging you, just throw a flower on it.
Put a flower on
it
it.
Makes everything better. All right, so I'm making leaves here with this brush. Super easy, just kind of setting it down and twisting it, and it's going to make all these kind of random shapes. It's already got that kind of bladed shape of a leaf almost. So really just kind of setting it down and swiping it in different directions, and I'm going to get all these really great leaf shapes and very random, and I'm not spending any too much time in one spot so that they're staying kind of random looking. And then I'm going to bring some of these stems up, just a few of them. And I've got my fence post here, so I know kind of how high we want to go, right? Because we want to go above that fence post with our rose stems. And let's connect these up to something so that they're not just kind of random. And then I'm going to dab the heck out of it. Just dab, dab, dab. And up here, I'm just going to use the very tip where I want my leaves to be smaller. I'm just barely touching down so I can get these little, really tiny little leaves. Some of them we want smaller. And what we're doing with these dark is we're almost filling in all of this space, because you look at our reference photo over there, that whole area is just almost solid green. But there is these really dark spots in between. So I want these really dark little spaces in here, and then we're going to be putting lots of other colors on top. This is going to be our groundwork here. So I don't want it completely solid, but we're going to almost fill in this whole area with this green, and we're going to right up over the top of our fence, almost to the top of the canvas in some spots. And I'm not worried about connecting anything up at this point. If we need to, we can always do that later. And we can put some stems out to, any leaves that look like they're floating out in the middle of nowhere. So if you feel like you need a leaf there, just go ahead and put it and we'll connect it up later. And don't be afraid of going, we can do some of these with burnt sienna too. Roses have those kind of almost purpley toned stems. So I'm going to add Quinacridone Magenta and Burnt Sienna and do some of these with, ooh, that's pretty, isn't it? With this really pretty, they're kind of new buds or new leaves kind of come out this rosy color and then they turn green. So throw some of that in. Why not? This is going to be a fun one because you can really kind of just personalize it. You can put whatever color roses you want to. If you like yellow roses, do those. You know, if you like these kind of pink ones, awesome. You could do red. You could do whatever you want to do. So, and I am not seeing any of my lines anymore, but that's okay. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm not going to worry about it. I will put those back in. And I can kind of see off to the side here. I'm just going to try not to touch those side ones. Totally cover those all the way up so that I at least kind of know where to start. So welcome, guys. I didn't say hi yet. Hope you're having a great week. It's a Tuesday night. We have guests in the house. I got absolutely no work done yesterday at all because I was enjoying my grandson. It was awesome.
Likely excuses.
Yeah.
Like you need an excuse.
No.
No. I don't blame you either.
He's pretty cute.
Mm-hmm. Came home tonight and he was with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting on the couch. I walked over to say hi and he just gave me that full face smile.
I know. Nothing like a baby smile.
Mm-hmm.
Make you feel good. All right, so we got a bunch of dabbies all over the place. Looking really good. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do down here. I'm going to put a few like little roses back here because there are some roses. But as far as the dark parts, the leaves are pretty dark back here. There's not a lot of these lighter color leaves. There's not a lot of light hitting that. I am going to put in some stems though. I'm seeing some stems that are down here that I didn't put in. So I'm going to just go ahead and put some stems in here. And I'm just using the flat edge of my brush to do that. Makes it really easy to make these long lines. Just flatten out your angle brush and draw it. I find it a lot easier to use the angle brush than to use a liner brush for lines like this. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Clean that out. And then I'm going to create kind of a dark reddish pink. I'm going to use the Unbleached Titanium to soften it up a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of blue since it's in the shadows. It'll kind of help tone it down a little bit.
What does blue do in the shadows?
Blue is a color that makes things look like they're farther away or darkened. So giving our pink roses some of this blue will just kind of help make them. I feel like there's a shine on there. I can see. All right, so I'm going to pick a few spots to make some of these roses. Some of them are kind of just buds, so we can just do little dabs, but some of them are a little bit bigger. So, and I'm going to grab some yellow. This is the yellow oxide. I'm adding a little bit of the cadmium yellow light, and I'm just adding it to this color already. So it's already this kind of toned down, blued out color, and we're just going to put it in some of our roses there. That's all I'm going to do. Let's go over here and do some over here. There's some over here. These are the ones that are going to be behind our fence. So I'm just doing these really dark ones back here where you really can't see them much. Can add a little bit of brown to my red here and do a couple of them with the reddish brown. Okay. And that's good. That's all I'm going to do there. Trying to see if I see any around the side of the fence, but I think that those, well, I guess I can see a few. So let's go ahead and just put a few little things back up here that are maybe going to show through our fence. They're kind of peeking through our. So this is very, you can, if you can't tell already, it's going to be very kind of impressionistic style. I'm not going to make it super realistic. It'll make it a lot easier for beginners, and I really just like this style when I'm painting these kind of climbing roses and things. It's just really fun to do it this way, because otherwise trying to paint every single leaf, oh my gosh, we'd be here for hours. We try to do it exactly photorealism from the photograph. That ain't happening on a Tuesday night.
So at the beginning of the show, when I was paying attention,
right, that happens.
Did you explain how you made the curve in the fence?
Yes.
Okay.
Why is somebody asking about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And since I was paying so close attention and I knew the answer, I figured I'd ask you.
I'll show you again here in a second.
Okay.
Making a little bit of brighter yellow here and just doing some of these with a little bit of brighter yellow. I still toned it down with that kind of purpley color though. But I wanted a little bit of the brighter yellow back here. Okay. I'm stalling just to let this dry because I don't want to do my fence over the top of this wet paint. So to do the fence, the curve there, let's show you again. I marked about 1.5 inches above my fence line here. I kind of marked where I wanted my fence to go all the way across, which was about the halfway mark, just above it. And marked top and bottom about a 1/2 inch line all the way across. And then I marked about 1.5 inches above it up here and here, and just made sure that they were level. And then just did my diagonal line and came up about, let me see where this line is. Try not to touch down on this wet paint. So this line is going to be coming in right here. So this fence post is going to come just above it, and it's going to curve up like that. And just try to get your curve about the equal bits. And if you need to, you can measure, your points all the way across. Just, measure up and do it that way. If you're feeling like it's not right, just when you do your boards down this way, you can just measure and say, okay, this board is 3 inches, and come over here and do this one 3 inches also. And then work your way towards the center. All right, this down here at least is dry, so we can go ahead and put this one in down here. I'm gonna move this up so I've got spots for my ruler to go. There we go. And make sure that you do everything in the background that you want to do, because you don't want to have to paint around this. So just make sure that you've gotten all your background flowers done the way you want them. I might add, I'm just noticing, I might add just a little bit of lighter pink to just a few of these. Even though they're in a shadow, they're still kind of got a little bit of the lighter color. Okay. Just add a little bit of unbleached titanium to my color there. And you can take this and hand it off to your hair drying person if you if you have somebody that does that for you like I do.
Your lovely assistant.
Exactly. I'm going to mix up some gray. This is the same color pretty much that we did in the background, except for I'm adding white instead of unbleached titanium to it this time. So it'll be a little bit cooler, a little bit crisper gray the Unbleached Titanium just kind of warms up the color, so it's a little bit warmer gray, and this one's going to be a little bit cooler, a little bit more of that blue color. And I added a little bit more blue than the brown here. So our fence is actually kind of gray. It's not white. It's not pure white. If you look at our reference photo, it looks white, but it's in shadow, so it's got a lot of this gray-blue color on it. So I'm going to go in with a kind of fairly light gray. I think that's good enough. And I've loaded my brush up. I got my ruler across here. The T-square is making it level, and I'm going to set my brush down right along that bottom edge and just run it across. And I can use a little bit of glazing liquid to help my paint be a little bit more fluid, because this, and don't use a lot of glazing liquid because it'll make your paint transparent. But we're using it just to kind of add some fluidity. If you've got like matte medium or just some sort of medium that makes your heavy body acrylics a little bit more fluid. If you're using a craft acrylic or an acrylic that's like a student grade acrylic that's not a super heavy body acrylic like I'm using, then you might not have to add anything to it. It may just be fine. So there we go. Straight line, and I'm going to wipe my ruler off so I don't get my line on anything else. So there's the bottom line of our fence. And then I'm going to do this one up here, if I can do it without touching anything that's wet. Hopefully. Yeah, it's picking up a little bit of that green. That's fine. And it's probably going to pick up some color when I paint across, but I'm being impatient. I'll probably pay for it later, but probably get paint all over my hands and then rub it on the wrong place. Yeah, see, it's pulling that green across. So we're always working from back to front here, so I'm going to work from these back slats. These ones are overlapped by the ones in front, so we're going to do these first. They're all the way in the back here. And I'm going across. I'm not really worried too much about it being perfectly, oopsie, I just pulled that paint right off of there. You just put a bunch of paint put a big old glob of paint right there.
What kind of painting show is this?
I know. Okay, I'm gonna let you take that, honey, and dry it, because I don't want to do any more to it before I. Well, actually, let me. I can do one more line here. Let me do the line on top of this and this up here really quick. Maybe. Actually, no. I need that background dry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll show the magnets. Okay. So we've got this thing going. Mark used to have a hobo fort over there in his area that he built out of boxes, where he sat behind his microphone. He had all these soundproofing things up, and I was tired of looking at boxes, so I bought him some like professional looking like metal cubicle soundboard things, and we're covering them with magnets. So people have been sending us magnets from all over the world. It's been really awesome. Calling it Magnets for Mark. So these are the 4 that we got this week. Got 2 San Diego ones and one. This is Yoda. I love it. Do or do not. There is no try. From Darlene Colvin. She sent us these 3. And then from June Williams and Darlene Johnson from Grants Pass, Oregon, sent us this one. So, which is awesome. I spent my summers over in Eugene right here. And my grandfather lived in Coos Bay, my dad's dad. So I love Oregon. It's such a beautiful state. And this one is painted by June Williams. Isn't that pretty? She sent those with her magnet. And then Darlene sent this one with her painted bunting. Isn't that beautiful? So thank you to them. And then I got a beautiful necklace from Karen Lee. Isn't that beautiful? She made it. So that's hanging up in my studio, and these are going on Mark's magnet walls along with his other several dozen magnets that we've gotten from people all over the world. It's been really great, and he's got most of it's covered now. We're almost done with the magnets. So if you want to send those, I am sending thank yous, and I'll show you. We made some thank you magnets for those who sent us magnets. We're sending these Stickman hammock magnets that Mark made. So we're sending those to those who sent us the magnets as a thank you. So, all right. Yay, thank you. Jazz hands.
I gotta talk. So you do this and line there and up and down.
Go away, go away. So helpful. Alrighty, let's see. So I want to put a line across. Ooh, that's still wet. I want to put a line across there. No, my brush was still wet. Just above that line. So I'm going to go right above that white line there. And I'm going to go with my darker gray, just a little bit darker. And I'm going to add a little green to it because I'm seeing some like green cast. White is really interesting because it will pick up the colors around it. So if it's got a lot of green leaves and green bushes and whatever, you're going to see green in your white. So I'm going to keep it fairly thin. I don't want to go too thick with this. This is going to be the top of our fence. Just seeing a little bit of it. There we go. So there's the top rail of our fence. And we'll do this one. Same way. Same colors. Just a little bit of gray with a little tiny bit of green in it. And I've got the number 2 round. So it's just a small round. It's probably a quarter of the size of the width of the, I would say about a quarter of the width of the first original line that we did there. This is also a way to kind of clean up any edges that you've got, that are a little bit off. So if you've got your fence, there's a little bit rough edges. And I'm going to take just a little bit of white and just kind of rub it on. It's just kind of dry brushing it just very lightly. Kind of across there. Ooh, and I want to make sure that touches. So I want to go down just a little bit farther. I don't want a separation there. Let's go a little bit farther down. Cover all that background green. There we go. Okay, very good. Very good. And so I want to go back in here and do a little bit of that white dry brushing. And dry brushing just means that I have very little paint on my brush, so I'm just kind of getting just a tiny bit of paint, and I'm very lightly just dusting it across the canvas, so it's picking up a little bit of the canvas texture here, and just running kind of a rough line. It's not going to be covered smoothly. It's going to have kind of a rough texture. It's going to look sort of like a weathered board there. See that? Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and just do our boards because a lot of these flowers are kind of coming up over the top of them. So we'll just go ahead and put those in, and then we'll put our flowers on top. So I'm going to find, if I need to, which I probably do, I'm just going to go ahead and mark my 12 spots here again on my board. Just equally spaced marks so I know where to put my slats down. Okay, there we go. Let's go this way. Let's see if it's hard to do this on this not flat. I'm using the angled board to make it easier for the camera, but it's not making it much easier for me. So yeah, I may just do that flat. It's gonna just make my life easier if I can just run it across.
And if you need some yoga blocks, they're available in the Amazon store.
They
Link down
are.
below.
Yep. That's all I'm using. They don't have this green color anymore, though. I noticed that they had like different colored ones.
Oh no.
They're black and like blue, different colors.
I'll sell somebody a limited edition,
Partially used.
partially used set of yoga blocks.
Slightly painted.
We'll start the asking price at $10,000.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous.
I think Bill might pay that for that.
Bill might? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to...
Or Elon. Either one.
What?
Or Elon.
Elon. Okay. So I'm going to set my brush down at angle to match up with that angle on my fence. And then as I come down, I'm just going to go straight down. And I'm doing like a little half slat here on the end. There. Ta-da! And you can see the top is angled like that. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here and come in just a little bit so that I'm just going to mark right here where I'm just going to put a mark across so I kind of know where to line my ruler up. Okay, so right about there, and then I'm going to come up to the top of my fence line and angle it. Come on, brush. There we go. So start at an angle, and then as I come down here, I'm just going to flatten it out. And if you want to, you could go all the way up to the top and then stop and kind of just do this little angled part here in separate. You don't have to do it at the same time, just as long as it kind of flows all the way. There we go. Cool. So right there. Oops. Need to wipe them. Oh! Attack.
What is going on over there?
Nothing. We're fine.
Hear all this racket.
I know. Got out of control here. We've got the situation under control now. I'm just going to wipe off that white.
Just don't get any paint on your armholes.
On my armholes. Okay, I'm going to try. Oh, I got paint all over my magnet. I don't know what's going on now. This is just disaster. Okay, here we go. Yeah, these may not be quite wide enough. I might push down a little bit harder to make these a little bit wider. There we go.
So, if anybody's new here, I want to say that if you click the Show More link down below the video is listed all of the supplies, the canvas size, the paints, the brushes, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also links to the brush guys, where Angela lists out all her recommended brushes, and there's 5% off code with the code Angela Fine Art.
Yes.
They're great guys, super reactive, we've heard nothing but positive
Mm-hmm.
back from them.
Great
Well,
company to work with.
Yeah, we've got social media links down there. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all those places.
Yeah, and we've got a new website we're going to be starting on Friday. So I'm super excited. I've been working on it for the last 3 weeks, trying to get it ready for you guys. And what it'll be is kind of a one-stop shop for those who are interested in seeing what we're up to on social media. And so it'll have Facebook, it'll have Instagram, it'll have all the YouTube videos. And for those who are part of our Patreon members who have been complaining about not being able to find traceables on Patreon, which Patreon's website is a little bit difficult to use. I feel your pain. So we're going to have them organized on the new website on a page, and it'll have like a little small circular thumbnail with the image, it's kind of just part of the image kind of cut off from the traceable. And then if you click on it, it'll take you to the page on Patreon where the full traceable is saved. I know.
What?
Yep. I just went way over. I was so excited about what I was saying. I went right on this one.
So you're not going to get any more messages and stuff?
No,
saying
hopefully
I can't
not.
find it?
Hopefully I can just say go to the website. And I mean, they're not going to all be on there the first, I can guarantee you, because I've been working on it for weeks now, and it's still, I'm still like halfway through the traceables, maybe not even. We've got to, like 300 traceables or something crazy like that. So, but hopefully eventually they'll all be on there. And the newer ones are all on there. So the ones up till Christmas for sure are all on there. Now I'm working back through autumn and back almost a year back now. So anyhow, yep, it'll be great. So if you're part of the Patreon group, and then I'll probably have a page for facts. Well, I'll have a page for just like random facts. So if you're looking for our schedule or whatever, just kind of random information about what kind of paints I use or brushes or that kind of thing, there'll be an information page on there for that too. So hopefully it'll make it easier to kind of get, because right now we've got it all over the place. I'm like, go to Patreon for that, go to Pinterest for that, go to Facebook, so hopefully we can have some videos saved on there, like things like how to varnish or whatever, just some of the stuff that I've done in Facebook, in my Facebook groups, that I don't post on YouTube.
So facts are FAQs. Frequently asked questions.
Right.
And so we're expecting
not facts.
We're expecting this website to go live this Friday.
Yes, and it's actually going to be part of a video that I made for Wix, which is the website company that I used to build the website. And so if you want to check that out on Friday, when the website goes live, I'm going to have a new video come out, and it's going to be uploaded, and it's called How to Build a Portfolio Website, I think, or something like that. So anyhow, so if you're interested, yeah, I mean, I was thinking, gosh, it was very easy to use. It's free. I was like, I wish that I had done this years ago. And
so they'll see the video.
Use it for anything.
They'll see the video.
Yeah, they'll see the video. So yeah, sorry. I know, I'm talking about it.
But somebody has asked a question.
Okay.
If they have a hard time keeping their boards the same width, what are some tips?
You could tape. So if that's an issue, you could just tape, use a little bit of tape. I've got artist tape in here. And they sell these like really thin widths of it, which make it really easy to do things like this. If I can find the tip of it. There we go. So you could just tape it on there. And My hint with tape is that you want to make sure that you're pressing down really firmly and taking it off before it dries. So don't leave it over there overnight, because your acrylics are basically plastic and they're going to lift like rubbery. They'll stick to your tape and dry over the tape in like a film. And I think that's about the right width. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, right? And if you pull from this direction too, it kind of helps not get the paint up underneath the tape. But if you press down hard enough, it shouldn't seep underneath. And if you keep your paint fairly thick, it won't seep underneath. If you have a very thin paint, it will tend to seep more than these heavy body acrylics will. So I don't tend to have a lot of issues with seeping when I tape using the heavy body acrylics. So let's see how that did. There we go. See, super straight. And then you make sure that, it's the same width. And you probably, if I was going to tape, I would do a little bit better job of measuring. And then if you don't want to tape and you're just, wanting to keep your boards, more uniform width, one thing that'll help is to not use a brush that's any wider than you want to go. So, use a brush that is maybe a little thinner than you want. Where's the brush there? So something like this, if you pressed it all the way down, it can fan out quite wide, right? So, if you want to use a brush like this, then you could press as hard as you want to all the way down, and then you're not going to go any wider than that, because the brush won't go any wider. And that way you're guaranteed not to go too wide. Or just, hold your brush up a little bit more upright. A lot of times it'll go wide if you're kind of going in kind of at a low angle. So if you hold your brush upright a little bit more and don't press down too hard, or do one side of it like this, very lightly, like along one side, like maybe do it like this, where you're just using the edge of it and getting that one side of it, and then lifting it and moving it over here. And then doing this side of it the same way, just that edge. And then filling in the middle. And that's probably the best way to do it without using tape, if you want to make sure that you're getting it straight across. And, well, come on. Am I getting my hair in there? I'm leaning forward. Oh, I got my ruler on top of my wet paint. Oh, that's all right. We fixed it. Keep a handy wipe ready. Something wet will probably be better than the dry paper towel here. There we go. So this is a little bit tedious. Sorry. I know it's kind of
so they can tape if they want to.
Yeah.
And leave their friends behind, because their friends don't tape, and if they don't tape, well, they're no friends of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I've been waiting this whole time for this break.
What?
I've been waiting this whole time. You've been talking. It's been killing me.
You've been waiting for that joke, huh?
Yep.
Good job, hon. That was pretty funny.
That's a lot of sympathy laugh right there.
Yeah. No comment.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Now that song's in your head, everybody.
It is. It is. I really wish that we could play music during our shows. That's one thing that I hate about, like doing it on YouTube here, because you just can't
Well, we just need
play
to
music.
offer all these artists the chance to be showcased on your show.
They're gonna
I'll give you rights.
go for that.
Looks
Mhm.
like you get a little white on your.
What?
Oh, you see it. Okay, you're going in for it.
Yep.
Good job.
I did that one a little bit thin. I'm gonna have to go back over it again. And I'm really honestly not too worried about the boards being perfectly filled in. You can see I'm kind of leaving a little bit of that texture on there, and that's just on purpose because I think it looks more like a board that way. And if you really make a mistake here, I'm just going to stick a flower right there. And then it won't matter that we're a little bit wide on our board right there. I feel like I'm representing for the clumsy people, painters of the world sometimes. Do you feel like that? I don't know. I feel like if there's a mistake that you can make, I've done it. I'm not very patient when I paint. So you learn how to fix them. Bonus. Because you'll probably do it too. Eventually. Maybe. Maybe not.
No, you're the only person in the world that makes mistakes. I haven't had the heart to tell you.
Okay. Well, thanks, hon.
I try to look like I'm making a mistake just to make you feel better.
Right. Okay. Well, good.
But it's not actually a mistake. You're mistaken.
Thank you. I'm mistaken. Har.
Okay, you got like an hour left, so just letting you know.
I better start laughing at your jokes, is what you're saying.
No, just an hour left, and you're doing this on your own.
Because, what time is it? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Well, when we get done with the fence, the flowers, you saw how fast the flowers went. The flowers are going to go like that.
Okay.
So this is the hardest part. This is the tedious part, is the fence and getting it in there kind of straight. So we just got to take our time with it. But once we get this in there, the rest of it's going to go real fast. So, sorry, I know this is not super exciting. This is the part where I would, like if we were doing time lapse, we would speed up. Mm-hmm. And then we would be done. And I keep getting paint on my canvas. Okay. Uh-oh. I just wiped off all my lines. Shoot. Wiped off all my marks. There. Uh-oh, I hear Liam.
You're still happy.
No. He's starting to teeth. He's like 3.5 months old, almost 4 months old. So we bought him a bunch of teething stuff. God bless YouTube. We watched a bunch of YouTube videos about best teething toys and stuff. Where was that when we were parents? I mean, it's like... I'd have been on YouTube all day long looking up stuff.
I mean, rocks worked back in the day.
Rocks. Giving them rocks to...
Sticks.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, and happy birthday to actor Johnny Galecki, born on this date in 1975. Did you know that the character Leonard from the...
That was awesome. Okay, she just decided to get in on the conversation. Alexa controls our lights in here, so she was listening in. I don't know what she thought she heard us saying, but she thought we needed to know that. That was great.
She hasn't made an appearance in a while.
No, she hasn't. She just was lying in wait for the right opportunity. I love it. So happy birthday to whoever that was. I don't even know who that was that she was talking about, but it's his birthday, so there you go.
Go out and celebrate, everybody.
You're welcome.
We have such a slick professional show going on
We
here.
do.
It's amazing. Maybe we should have a video channel.
We've come a long way. All I have to say is if they think this is bad, you just watch a couple years ago and you will be appreciative of everything.
Yeah. Do that.
You will be blown away by how amazing we are now.
We need to link that one video where it's zoomed all the way in.
That's the red tree video. It is literally 7 minutes into the video before Carolyn told me that it was zoomed in too far.
People are saying they can't see.
I'm like, and then like one of the other videos, the cookie decorating video that we did. I mean, like that was our first Christmas doing live shows, and we did cookie decorating for a video. We had like literally 20 people watching us, and
oh yeah,
and like full 30 minutes of the first, 30 minutes of the video was double echoed audio.
Feedback.
Yeah. No, because it was playing on my computer at the same time as it was recording.
Oh, okay.
And so it was everything I said was saying it again a couple seconds in delay, and then it was saying it again, and then so by the end it was just like me talking, saying the same thing over and over and over and over. It was amazing. It was like, and I was just like, are you even? Oh my gosh.
It's just like we meant to do that.
Yeah, it was bad.
Very artsy, psychedelic.
So I had to go back in and delete the whole first part of that video. I don't even know what the people watching must have been thinking. I don't know. They were probably freaked out thinking that their computer was doing something weird.
They're thinking, are we in the 70s again?
Yeah, I don't know. It was bad. So this is good. Like, I'm happy with where we're at now. We have the lights all on and we're zoomed in, and
we got audio.
We're good.
Yeah. We're not buffering.
No. Yeah, that was another thing we had.
Hey, and all this is made possible by all the supporters through Super Chat and Patreon and everything, because we've been able to invest into all good equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We got a new computer that's about ready to go live, and it was all made possible by them.
Yep.
The internet connection, we were able to upgrade to a faster speed, so it won't have any problems.
Yeah, y'all have made it possible. All right, there we go. We're done with our fence. Yay! All right, now Mark's glad.
Like I said, it don't matter to me. I know where I'll be in an hour.
Okay. So we all better hurry up here. I'm going to get a little bit of brown. And I want to spray this down so I don't lose that gray that I mixed earlier. A little bit of brown and go just a little bit darker than my white. And I'm going to go in here and along one side of this fence here, I'm just going to darken one side all the way down so that it looks like it's got a little bit of a shadow. And then I'm going to darken right here. On that back slat, so you can kind of see where we've done it and we haven't done it yet. This is just going to, and you could use your ruler again if you want to. I'm going to live dangerously here. Liam is not happy about something in there. Can you hear him? Just a little bit. He was fussing yesterday, and so we brought him outside, and he just quieted down. It was just like blown away by the outside. He was like, whoa. It was like a whole new world. Okay, I'm using that lighter color here to just kind of clean up that edge right there. I'm kind of dirtying up my boards just a little bit. Kind of just running this dark color on here. There's some shadows on our boards from the leaves. So I'm going to just kind of use this color. You can see what I'm doing there. Every time I do fences or doors or buildings or anything, it's like I can't paint a straight line anymore. I don't know why. Weird.
Yeah, one of your regulars came in and they were like, did you change the angle of the camera?
Oh, here, I can go
And
back.
it's like, well, no, she was put it down while she was doing the straight lines. So
That's
like,
probably.
oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Better. Now we can see it better.
Da-da-da-da.
Ta-da.
So what did you make me for dinner tonight?
Chick-fil-A.
Excellent.
It's been Spencer to go get it. I have it holding for you over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're saving it for you.
They haven't made it yet for me?
Right.
Okay.
They were making it special for you.
Oh, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
You made me a great dinner last night.
I know. Pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm working on stuff.
Hey, it was good. There are zero complaints here.
Okay, so this side I'm doing a little bit heavier line just to kind of make it look like the board. We're seeing a little bit of that board there on that side, and honestly, if we wanted to, we could kind of do, whoops, we could do it so that this is like facing us straight, and then this side is kind of got the more of it showing on this side. So this one in the middle here maybe is just kind of facing us straight on, and then this one, these ones here, Just being messy with this. Putting in my shadow. Let's put some of that dark color right here. We want this back fence post to be shadowed. And I'm being deliberately kind of messy with this. Trying to kind of stay on my lines, but not really being super careful. It'll make it a little bit more, because we've got, our flowers are going to be kind of messy, so we don't want our fence to be like perfect. It'll look weird if our fence is like all, perfectly lined up and straight, and then the rest of it is all kind of impressionistic and, So we're going in kind of messy here. And just letting it be a little bit less fussy. Okay. A little bit beat up, a little bit weathered. And if you get an area where you just really don't like it, we'll just put a flower over it. No big deal. Using a little glazing liquid here. I'm just going to put some random shadows on my boards. Maybe make them look kind of like leaf shapes, so I'm going to kind of dab some of them. Some of them are kind of angular. Sort of where our flowers are going to go. You'll be glad we did this later. It looks weird now, but trust me, it'll look interesting once we get our flowers in here over the top of these boards.
I'm trusting you.
Thanks. So just like long. Random, kind of slanted. Our light's obviously coming from this direction, casting these shadows on our boards this way. And you can come back in with your lighter color if you want to and kind of soften those up if they seem too harsh. Some of them are pretty strong shadows though, so leave some of them pretty dark. Okay, I think that's good. We can add some more later if we need to. And then I want to add a little bit of bright white to the tops of my boards here. Just where we're seeing the very tip of them. Just a little bit. We're not seeing all of them. But we can kind of clean that line up. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to use my wet paper towel here, and I might wipe off any marks that are between that we still see. I think it just got paint in my mouth. Ugh. licking my paper towel there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so what people don't see, that Angela has this habit of just wetting the paper towel with her tongue
Yeah, I do.
to wipe
The
things
last bit
off.
in my paintings.
Yeah, there's Angela DNA.
Probably test them for DNA. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking you probably could.
So a few million years from now, they'll be able to replicate you.
That's scary. Please don't.
They'll make a movie, Artist Island,
Don't do it.
Artist Park, Van Gogh, Angela,
Don't do it.
Degas,
Yeah.
all out there in the fields painting.
All right, I'm going to use a little bit of that ultramarine blue and glaze. I added a little bit of white to it and some glazing medium, and I'm just going to glaze over my fences. Just in a few spots where I know it's going to be really dark. So like down in here, there's some of our flower down in here that's shaded. I don't know what that.
What did you use a fish?
No.
It's not listed in your supplies.
No. Just some of these that I know are going to have a lot of flowers over the top. Okay. And then there are some little nail holes. I'm just going to go ahead and put those in, just using the tip of my brush here and dabbing little nails in my boards. Whoop. Let's try to get them centered there. Before I put my flowers in, because I don't want to have to try to do this over the top of flowers. Around them, get it all in there. Okay. And now we're going to do our lighter flowers, or our lighter leaves. So I'm going to grab the yellow and some ultramarine blue and that phthalo green. Make the ultramarine blue and yellow on its own makes a kind of an olive green, but when you add the phthalo green, it brightens it up a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of white over here, so I've got kind of a lighter, and using a little bit of yellow in my white version will brighten it up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to kind of scoop up both of these colors on here. And we'll start laying in our flowers that are coming in over the top of our fence. I'm going to lay in a few like random branches. Okay, just a few. And then dab, dab, dab. Let's leaf it out here. Pretty. Going with these lighter colors here. Going with some darker as well. These are all on top of our fence post. And now you can see why we did those darker colors in there, because these are going to really pop these forward, having those dark colors underneath. I'm going to make a little bit more dark green here. Just a little bit deeper green, but not as much brown in it. So just like a, yeah, that's good. Good. Get some of that lighter color. Dab some of that in there. Some of these are just peeking through little spots over here. And like I said, if you've got a little spot on your fence post that you don't like, then this is where you can kind of cover it up. Just throw a leaf on the top of it and you're good. Grab some of the darker color. This goes really fast. really fast. Don't overthink this. Just kind of let, you can see I'm literally just tapping the tip of my brush down and rotating it from side to side, so I'm getting kind of leafy shapes. It's not difficult with this angle brush. It's really great for doing leaves. Yeah, let's put some up high. Isn't that pretty? What?
I just moved the side cam so we could see what you're doing on the bottom. Then you go up top, so I was like, I'll turn it off.
Okay. Let's bring some of those flowers over the top of these fence posts too, so they're not, you can see they're getting covered. Love it. This is so fun. I hope you try it.
I might not.
You might not? All right. Well,
I might not. I just
hopefully somebody watching will try it then.
I said might. No guarantees.
I think we're going to try to paint with lamb. We're trying to figure out
What the what?
how to do it. So if anybody has any painting with baby ideas, you can post those. Send me a message.
I was painting his feet with that big red brush over there Sunday.
Yeah, but there's no paint on it.
He was looking at me kind of strange.
I'm going to make some of the kind of brighter purpley red here and do some of the stems with that. Make sure I'm pressing my brush flat so I get some good things. And now I'm kind of trying to connect some of these leaf shapes that I've got with some stems here. Just throwing some lines out. And I can put in some of these. This is that Quinacridone Magenta and Burnt Sienna. Doing that kind of bright emerging bud color. Add a little bit of Unbleached Titanium to lighten it up. Do some with that. Over the top of some of these reddish colors that I've got going on here. Okay. Put in a few more leaves and then we can start our flowers. Didn't do nearly enough flower leaves in this area here. We need lots of leaves. Right here with the lighter color.
I think you missed a leaf. I think you missed a leaf.
I missed a leaf.
Right over there. Next to that other one. Did you count them? Make sure that there's an odd number. Jeez. I can see you thinking, why? Why, God? What, why?
Just thinking, why did I invite this guy? Right. Using the Quinacridone Magenta and some of that Cadmium Red Light. Oh, that's pretty. Making a kind of a corally pink color here. And I'm going to start kind of doing these little rosettes. So I'm going to kind of pick a spot and just do a bunch of little dabs almost kind of in a circle to do my flowers. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not going to overdo these. Dabbing in a circle. And I've got several colors on my brush, so they're going to create kind of the flower without really trying too hard here. And I can probably I'll probably go back over them with a little bit of highlight color or a little bit of, you know, shadow color. But for the most part, this is going to be our flower. So if you did the geranium painting that we did like last year with this is going to be very similar technique to that. Just kind of dabbing these flowers in here. And I'm adding more than our picture has over on this side. The picture doesn't have a whole lot on this side, but I'm going to fill it in a little bit more over here. But I still do like kind of an empty space happening, so I don't want to overdo and have like the whole thing covered with painting with flowers. It is nice to have like a little bit of room for your eye to breathe. Mark loves that saying, but just a little bit of space in between your colors so that you can kind of pause and grab some of my white. Do some with my lighter pink color.
I would like to know, what are your biggest tips for painting flowers like this?
My biggest tip is to not overwork them, because it's real easy to kind of get in there and like have sort of a preconceived notion of how they're supposed to look. But I'm really kind of unfocusing my eyes and just looking at the overall shape of the flower. And if you kind of unfocus or like squint your eyes, you'll see the major like colors that or values that are in your flower and where they're at. And then if you can kind of just hit those spots, then you don't have to go into a ton of detail. But I think people kind of or you know, I know myself, you know, when I'm painting this kind of loose style, I tend to kind of like if you look at any one flower too hard, it's going to start looking weird. So you kind of have to just kind of almost take a step back and just sort of like relax into it and kind of just go with the flow and do the outer shape first. Get that right. And then you can go in and kind of play with the values. Make sure that you've got like a dark area and a light area in each of these. And also, if you'll stop every now and then and kind of just walk away and look at it from a distance, these kind of flowers and paintings look a whole lot better from farther away. And if you look at like impressionist type paintings, like from, you know, Van Gogh or Monet or one of those, I've seen those in museums if you've ever seen them in person. And when you get super close to them, it's all kind of a jumbled mess, but then when you step back, it makes sense, you know, and that's kind of the thing we're doing here. It may not look real great, you know, like right here if we've zoomed in on this little one spot, but as a whole, your eye's going to interpret it as flowers, and that's what we're going for. We're kind of going for that overall look. We don't need each flower to be exactly just so. We just need them to kind of, as a collective whole, look like flowers, and all these little dabs and dots and things our eye will interpret as roses. It's amazing how it works. If you just get the basic shape right and kind of get your values in the right spots, your eye does the rest. It kind of tricks us into, it's really amazing. And it makes this kind of painting really fun because you just don't have to work too hard at it. You can kind of relax, just enjoy the process. That's my hope, at least for you, is that you enjoy it. I'll show you kind of, you know, in these videos, sort of how I do it to maybe help you get a head start, but, you know, you can make it your own, do your own thing with it. That's the whole idea, is just to kind of give you some courage to try. It can be kind of daunting when you're first trying out, and trust me, I know, because I did it from books, and and the frustrating thing about books was that like you'd have this And then it'd be like, and do this. And then it'd be, and then do that. And it'd be like finished. And you're like, how did you do that? So it's nice that I would have loved to have in the videos to be able to watch. So.
Somebody wants a close up. So I'm going to zoom in while you're in an area. Maybe.
Okay.
You're going to
Okay.
I'm going to zoom. You didn't have to stop talking.
I'm watching myself now.
Okay.
Concentrating so I stay on camera. So I put in that kind of yellow. I just added yellow to my color here so that I had. Texting you.
One of my employees
From work.
that I sent to California.
So you can't ignore it.
Oh, I can ignore it. I'm the boss
All right,
man.
I'm going off camera, so you're going to have to zoom off because I'm moving around a lot. Here, I'm sorry, hon. So adding some of these. Oh, it's pretty. Love it. Grab some white here. Grab a little bit of my pink. Really pale white, and I'm just going to kind of use the tip and draw a little. Okay, go and zoom in on one of these. Go and zoom in right here. I'll do them. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Okay, right there. Right there.
I'm
No,
naive enough.
All right. So I'm going to use the tip of it to kind of do some little swirlies. Because rose, they kind of have that cupped look. So just using this brush to kind of swirl around just a few of these. Doesn't have to be all of them. And then there's some of them up here that are kind of lighter. So we're adding highlights to some of them, so looks like they're getting hit by the sun. There's a lot of them that are kind of overlapping in this area, so I'm just kind of trying to make sure that I leave room for them to look like individual flowers and not a big blob of the sameness. So just using the tip of the brush to kind of do some random little petals. And then I'm going to use some of the darker Quinacridone and add some darker to the ones that look like they need that. Okay, go ahead and zoom back out there. You can see them kind of. Okay. These ones that are kind of in this area, I would focus more on getting, getting some of them looking a little bit more kind of finished. And then the ones around the outsides, I wouldn't put as much detail in. And that's the way your eye works too. You know, it'll focus in on kind of one area. So we want our focal point area to be this center. And so we'll put more of our larger roses in here and make sure that they have good detail. Okay. Pretty close to being done here. What time is it? Okay, 1:30. Oh, all right, an hour and a half. Not bad. Kind of what I was thinking it would be. Going in with my yellow flowers here and just putting a little bit more detail in them. A little bit brighter yellow. There we go. Looks like these two kind of roses are sort of mixed together. Well, actually, it looks like this rose is kind of starts out, the buds look like they're yellow. They start out kind of yellowish and then they turn this pink color. So I'm sure somebody knows what kind of rose this is because it's really pretty.
It's a farm all.
That's your answer to everything. Doesn't matter what it is anymore. It's formal. All right. Oh, it's pretty. I like it. Now you can see why we did this, the shadows the way we did on our fence. And if you need to go in, we can go in now with the glazing liquid and even put like more detailed shadows if we want to do like ones underneath some of these that are look like try to mimic the leaves that are just above it, the shape on our fence here. So go just below it or just to the side here and kind of do some random shadows that make a little bit more sense. Okay. And you could really do your background really any color you wanted to. If you don't like this gray, you could do it more blue or whatever. I'll leave that up to you to get creative with it. Go a little bit more of that bright green, and I'm going to do kind of a couple little more like intentional leaves here where we know they're going to be visible, like on these outer leaves here. And then we do just a few more in areas if we need them. You may not need to do this, but I'm just seeing some areas that maybe might want some more leaves, like down in here. Grab some yellow. Just do a few like really bright yellow green. Add some white to it. The yellow will brighten up that green. There we go. There we go. I'm going to pick a few of these leaves and just kind of add a little bit of brightness. You can see how it's kind of popping out those, some highlights on some of these leaves. Just a few of them. I don't want all of them. These really bright highlights can take over your painting real quick, so you kind of have to just be real selective where you put them, because they can wash it out and make it all look kind of dull, or you lose your depth. But you kind of have to do them over the top of your darker areas, or they won't show up. So there we go. Yay! Oh, it's so pretty. I'm just poking a few little leaves in areas I can see where they're kind of poking through the fence there. Peeking around the corner of the fence. You see anything that we need to do, hon? Or we forgot?
No. I think we're good.
We're good?
So at this point, you'll mess around with it for another 20 minutes.
For another 20 minutes? Okay.
So it's perfect.
And go. Set timer. I do want to add a little bit of the burgundy leaves again, just a little bit.
You'll still need to sign it too.
Mm-hmm.
But your time is, the sand in the hourglass is starting to run out.
Okay. I'm going to go underneath some of these ones that are up here on the top and add a little bit of this burgundy kind of underneath. There's some like burgundy leaves that are sort of underneath some of them. Pretty. All right. Yeah, let's sign it.
Let's do it. Bring the signature.
There we go. Thank you guys so much for, oh, we got some super chat.
You went a little
I'm going
fast
to add
there.
a few little centers to my flowers while you're talking about that. I'm going to use the burnt sienna.
I knew you couldn't resist. All right, so we had a good crowd tonight, and we had a couple super chatters.
Awesome.
The first one is from Laura, and she says, "Thank you for all the happy days you provide."
Oh,
Oh, thanks,
thank you, Laura.
Oh, sorry, I've missed the smiley face emoji and hand clap emoji and heart
Nice.
emoji.
Love
And the other one was from our friend from the future, Jillian. And she says,
yes.
"Thanks for the extra work. Doing the close-up, showing us the skills is priceless."
Oh, good.
And thanks,
Thank you,
Jillian.
Appreciate you.
And for letting us know what it's like in the future there.
In Australia.
In May, yeah.
Oh, in May, yeah. Doing a little bitty dots. Bitty dots. There we go. Just on a few of them, like some of these that are, can you see that? What we did there? Just a few. There and there and there. There, down there. Just a few little dots.
Hey, real quick,
Uh-huh.
a friend Dave has asked, do you have
Yes.
any tips on how to remove acrylic paint from wood floors?
I don't. Wow.
I would put a rug over
alcohol? I don't know if alcohol will damage your wood, but alcohol will dissolve acrylic paint. So you can try that.
it, or just put a rug over it,
Try a little,
or,
alcohol.
or paint
I'm
the
going to
whole
use
floor.
this burnt umber and just kind of tap along this edge here. I feel like it needs to be darker along this fence edge right there. I don't know what you're saying there, honey. I know you're trying to be funny.
I was going to say just paint the rest of the floor. People in chat
That would work
recommended
too.
Tubbo towels.
Tubbo towels.
So
I've
hopefully
never
he
heard of that.
uses the Amazon link down below the video here to
Ooh.
purchase them on
There you go.
Amazon.
There you go. Good plug. I just used all of our Amazon money for baby stuff, so we need more. So I can buy some books.
So keep buying stuff on Amazon through the link.
It helps. It
It's
helps.
supported. That's one way that you can support the channel.
Yep,
You
it
go
does. It's
click the link, go
really
to
easy
Amazon, buy anything.
Yeah, as
And
long as
there's-
you go through the link first.
It's a referral program, so it helps support the channel.
Yeah. No, you're going to buy some on Amazon. It's a great way to support our channel. Keep me reading books. And Liam supplied with toys. There we go. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching tonight. We so appreciate you, as always. And we'll see you on Saturday for that. I don't even have it posted yet, but we're doing a really fun sunset. It was the #1 video or #1 image on my recent poll on my Thankful Art group on Facebook. They picked a poppy field with a sunset. It's going to be really beautiful. So I'll be posting that link up probably tomorrow, and you can check that out by clicking my name or my image on under the video here, and it'll take you straight to my homepage. And I'll be posting actually the whole month of May's schedule sometime early this week. I'm hoping to get it up by Friday, and watch for our upcoming video on Friday too. It'll be a different kind of video, how to build a website.
Nice.
So
And I put up the link for Patreon.
yeah, patreon.com. If you want the traceable for this, it's available there, and as well as our bonus videos and all that good stuff. There's all kinds of different levels that you can join, and the traceables are only $1 a month for unlimited downloads, so it's really great.
We had a couple people during the show join, they said.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time. Bye.